The Galactic Council had ruled the galaxy for over 10,000 cycles. They had seen wars between star empires. They had watched suns collapse and worlds burn. They had judged species powerful enough to erase planets from maps. And yet, on this day, the council chamber was silent. Not respectful silence. Not calm silence. Fearful silence. The massive hall floated above a blue artificial star. Light reflected off the polished metal floor where hundreds of alien delegates sat in layered rows. Some had scales that changed color with emotion. Others had eyes that glowed when afraid. A few had no faces at all, only shadows moving behind glass masks. At the center of the chamber, a single word glowed in red light. Humans. An elder counselor finally broke the silence. Begin the recording. A hologram burst to life. It showed a distant planet, covered in smoke and fire. Ships filled the sky, sleek, ancient war vessels belonging to the Volari Dominion. The Volari were not weak. They were one of the oldest military powers in the galaxy. Their technology was refined. Their tactics were perfect. They had never lost a full-scale war. Until this moment, the recording zoomed in. Human ships appeared from hyperspace. They were smaller, rougher, less elegant. Some council members relaxed. Primitive designs, one delegate whispered. But the relaxation did not last. The human fleet did not form traditional attack lines. They scattered. They moved in strange patterns. Some ships charged forward, drawing fire. Others vanished behind debris fields. A few powered down completely, drifting like dead metal. The Volari fleet fired. Energy beams cut through space, destroying several human ships. The Council expected retreat. The humans did not retreat. They adapted. Human ships began firing back, not at the largest targets, but at communication relays. Then navigation systems. Then supply carriers. Small attacks. Precise attacks. Within minutes, Volari formations broke. Within an hour, Volari command lost control. A council strategist leaned forward, his voice shaking. They are dismantling the battle, not fighting it. The recording continued. Human ground forces landed next. The Volari were masters of planetary defense. Their cities were shielded. Their soldiers genetically engineered for combat. Still, humans advanced. They moved through destroyed streets, using smoke and shadows. When ambushed, they did not panic. They fell back, regrouped, and returned stronger. When outmatched, they lured enemies into traps. When wounded, they kept fighting. The Volari defenders began to hesitate. Humans did not fight like machines. They fought like survivors. A Volari general appeared in the recording, his voice filled with disbelief. They are learning our tactics faster than we can change them. The council chamber grew colder. The recording skipped ahead. 3 days later, the Volari capital fell. The ancient empire surrendered unconditionally. A war that should have lasted years ended in days. The hologram faded. Silence returned, heavier than before. One council member spoke quietly. This cannot be repeated. Another responded. It already has. New images appeared. Different battlefields. Different enemies. Same result. Humans lost battles. Humans lost ships. Humans lost people. And then humans won. Again and again. A data analyst rose from his seat. Humans do not calculate war the way we do, he said. They expect loss. They prepare for failure. They assume the enemy will cheat. Several council members stiffened. Because, the analyst continued, humans have done all of those things to themselves. A historian added more context. Human history is filled with conflict. They fought each other before they reached the stars. They survived world wars, resource collapses, and near-extinction events. An elder leaned forward slowly. War shaped them. Another elder corrected him. No. War trained them. The chamber lights dimmed. A final simulation appeared. A projected future. Humans fully integrated into galactic warfare. The result made several delegates turn away. Human-led coalitions ended wars faster than anyone else. But they also dominated military command. Not by force. By efficiency. One AI voice spoke with no emotion. Probability of human strategic dominance, 98%. The implication was clear. If humans were allowed to fight freely, the galaxy would never control war again. The council began to vote. One by one, glowing symbols appeared in the air. Fear won over logic. Control won over trust. The final decision was announced. By unanimous ruling of the Galactic Council, the speaker declared, "Human participation in interstellar warfare is hereby outlawed." The word banned burned into the chamber walls. Some felt relief. Others felt guilt. Far away, on Earth, humans received the message. They did not protest. They did not threaten. They simply asked one question.
Why?
The council did not answer. Because deep down, they all knew the truth. The galaxy was not afraid of human cruelty. It was afraid of human capability. And this ban was only the beginning. After the ban was announced, the galaxy tried to move on. Trade routes reopened. Borders were redrawn. Old enemies signed fragile peace treaties. For a short time, things felt calm. But behind closed doors, the Galactic Council was still watching humanity. Very closely. Deep inside the Council's intelligence archives, thousands of reports were being studied. Not just battle footage, but human behavior. Human thinking. Human reactions under pressure. The analysts noticed something disturbing. Humans did not react to war like other species. Most races feared death above all else. When losses reached a certain point, morale collapsed. Armies broke. Leaders surrendered. Humans were different. When humans lost, they did not stop. They changed. One report described a human battalion trapped on an ice world. Their supplies were gone. Their weapons were damaged. Escape was impossible. Any other species would have surrendered. Humans stayed. They took apart broken weapons and rebuilt them. They used wrecked ships as shelter. They used frozen ground to hide heat signatures. When enemy forces finally arrived to capture them, they found nothing. The humans had already moved. Another report came from a jungle planet. The enemy had superior numbers and better weapons. They surrounded the human forces and cut off all exits. The enemy commander expected a clean victory. Instead, the jungle burned. Humans had studied the planet's plants, animals, and weather. They turned the environment itself into a weapon. The enemy never saw the humans clearly, only shadows, traps, and sudden strikes. The enemy survived. But they never fought humans again. A senior council observer summarized it best. Humans do not ask if they can win. They ask how long they can last. This worried the galaxy. Because endurance was far more dangerous than strength. The council ordered psychological simulations. They wanted to understand the human mind. The simulations placed humans in extreme conditions. Isolation. Constant threat. No hope of rescue. Other species broke within days. Humans lasted weeks. Some even joked during the tests. One AI report stated, "Humans use humor as a defense against fear." Another added, "They form emotional bonds under stress, increasing group survival." The council did not like that. Strong bonds meant strong resistance. The more pressure humans faced, the more united they became. One elder asked a simple question. What happens if the galaxy becomes their enemy? No one answered, because the answer was already forming in their minds. The council then studied human history more deeply. Not just official records, but old data. Stories. Personal accounts. War journals. Survivor logs. They saw humans fight each other for centuries. Nation against nation. Ideology against ideology. Brother against brother. Yet after each conflict, humans rebuilt. They remembered their dead. They learned from their mistakes. They prepared for the next threat. A historian spoke during a closed session. Most species evolved in stable environments. Humans evolved in chaos. Chaos made them flexible. Chaos made them creative. Chaos made them dangerous. One particular record disturbed the council greatly. It showed humans losing a war. Cities destroyed. Millions dead. Resources exhausted. The humans should have collapsed. Instead, A new generation rose. They rebuilt stronger defenses. They redesigned their weapons. They rewrote their strategies. They turned defeat into training. The council realized something frightening. Humans treated failure as information, not shame, not weakness. Information. A military advisor said quietly, "If humans ever unite fully under one cause, nothing will stop them." The council began to understand why their simulations had failed. They had assumed humans feared loss the same way others did. They were wrong. Humans feared stagnation more. Another discovery followed. Humans did not glorify war. They hated it. They remembered its cost. But when forced into it, they became relentless. One human phrase appeared again and again in the data. "If we must fight, we finish it." That sentence echoed through the chamber. The council feared unfinished wars. Unfinished wars created resentment. Resentment created rebellion. Humans ended wars completely, sometimes too completely. As these discoveries piled up, concerns spread beyond the council. Other species began whispering. Merchants feared human efficiency. Generals feared human adaptability. Politicians feared human influence. A rumor spread across the galaxy. The band exists not to protect us from humans, but to protect humans from us. Because if humans were ever betrayed, if humans ever believed the galaxy was unjust, they would not forget. They would not forgive easily. The council increased surveillance. Human ships were tracked. Human research was monitored. Human communications were analyzed. But humans did nothing. They focused on trade, exploration, science. This made the council even more uneasy. Predators that stayed calm were more dangerous than those that attacked blindly. An elder finally said what many feared. "We ban their weapons, not their minds." The council began to realize the truth. Humanity was not dangerous because they loved war. Humanity was dangerous because they learned from it. And the galaxy had given them a reason to keep learning. Far away, on Earth, human leaders reviewed the ban. They did not shout. They did not threaten. They prepared. Because humans had learned one lesson above all others. Peace never lasted forever. And when the next war came, the galaxy would remember why it had been afraid. The Galactic Council trusted numbers. Numbers did not lie. Numbers did not panic. Numbers did not feel fear. So when fear began spreading through the council chambers, they turned to their most powerful prediction system, the core intelligence. It was an ancient war AI built from the knowledge of 1,000 species. It had studied every recorded battle in galactic history. It could predict outcomes with near-perfect accuracy. If anyone could measure humanity, it was the core. The council gave a simple order: simulate full-scale war scenarios. Humans versus the galaxy. The AI began its work. Millions of virtual battlefields appeared inside its processing network. Different environments, different alliances, different starting advantages. In the first simulation, humans were outnumbered 3-1. Result: human victory in 18 months. In the second, human supply lines were cut off early. Result: human tactical adaptation. Enemy command collapse in 11 months. In the third, humans faced the combined fleets of 5 major empires. Result: heavy human losses followed by strategic alliance shifts. Final outcome: human-led coalition dominance. The chamber grew colder with each result. An advisor adjusted the parameters. Reduce human resources by 40%. Simulation ran again. Human victory. Delay their technological growth. Human victory. Remove their strongest commanders. Human victory, slower but still decisive. Murmurs spread through the chamber. This was not normal. No species won every scenario. The council demanded an extreme test. Simulate humanity facing complete galactic unity. For the first time in history, the galaxy would stand together against a single enemy: Earth. The core intelligence processed for a long time, longer than usual. The lights in the chamber flickered slightly as energy demand increased. Finally, the result appeared. Human defeat probability, 62%. Some council members relaxed. It was possible to beat them. But then new data scrolled beneath the number. Projected galactic losses, 78%. Projected infrastructure collapse, severe. Projected long-term instability, guaranteed. Even in defeat, humanity would break the galaxy beyond repair. A military strategist spoke carefully. They would lose, but we would never recover. The room fell silent. Then something unexpected happened. The AI requested clarification. The core had never requested clarification before. Its voice echoed across the chamber. Observation: human behavioral unpredictability exceeds historical parameters. The council demanded explanation. The AI displayed human wartime communications, messages between soldiers, letters to families, personal recordings. In one clip, a wounded human soldier laughed while under fire. In another, a commander chose to stay behind so others could escape. In a third, civilians volunteered to defend their cities. The AI highlighted a pattern. Humans display high willingness for self-sacrifice when group survival is threatened. Another pattern followed. Humans rapidly innovate under stress. The simulations began adjusting in real time. Each time humans faced disaster, their strategy evolved faster than predicted. Losses became lessons. Setbacks became traps. The AI ran deeper projections. 50 years into hypothetical galactic war, a disturbing outcome appeared. Human technology growth curve, exponential. Reason: reverse engineering and battlefield adaptation. The core displayed a final warning. If conflict continues beyond 20 cycles, probability of human strategic superiority increases to 94%. An elder leaned back slowly. They grow stronger the longer the war lasts. The AI answered without emotion. Correct. Another council member asked the most dangerous question. What if humans believe they are fighting for survival? The chamber darkened as the simulation adjusted. New scenario. The galaxy strikes first. Humanity perceives extinction threat. The result appeared faster than expected. Human unity probability, 89%. Internal human conflict, minimal. Military mobilization speed, extreme. Projected outcome: human victory, overwhelming. Time to dominance, 32 cycles. Several delegates stood up in shock. That is impossible. The AI did not argue. It simply displayed historical evidence. Whenever humans faced extinction-level danger in their past, they united faster than any known species. Differences disappeared. Old conflicts paused. Survival became the only goal. The core intelligence concluded with one final statement. Recommendation: avoid direct existential threat scenario with humanity. The council understood what that meant. Never corner humans. Never make them believe they have nothing left to lose. Because a species with nothing left to lose becomes unstoppable. The simulations ended. But the fear did not. For the first time in galactic history, the Council faced a species that did not rely only on technology or numbers. Humans relied on something harder to measure.
Will.
A quiet voice spoke in the chamber. We ban their warfare, but what if war finds them anyway? No one answered, because deep down, they all sensed it. The galaxy was not preparing for the right danger. They feared humans becoming conquerors. They had not considered humans becoming defenders. And history had shown one truth again and again. Humans fought hardest when protecting something. The Council shut down the core intelligence for the day. But the final line remained burned into their records. Human conflict capability cannot be safely contained through prohibition alone. Far away, on Earth, human scientists were studying alien technology peacefully. Human explorers were mapping unknown sectors. Human children were growing up under a galactic ban they did not fully understand. They were not planning conquest. They were not planning revenge. But they were still learning, still adapting, still preparing, even without knowing it. Because humans had survived one truth since the beginning of their history. Peace is only temporary. And when the next great war arrived, the simulations would no longer be theoretical. The Galactic Council did not announce the meeting. There were no broadcasts, no official records. No public votes. The decision was made in silence. For the first time since the ban, the Council sent a direct message to Earth. Not a warning, not a command, a request. Earth accepted. The meeting took place in neutral space, aboard a massive station built long before humans reached the stars. Its halls were wide and empty, designed to make visitors feel small. Symbols of 100 civilizations were carved into the walls. The Council believed the setting would intimidate the humans. They were wrong. The human delegation arrived in a single ship. No escort fleet. No weapons on display. Just 3 representatives. A civilian leader. A military commander. A scientist. They walked calmly into the chamber, their movements slow, controlled. They did not stare at the alien delegates. They did not bow. They simply waited. An elder counselor spoke first. "You know why you are here." The human civilian answered gently. "We were invited." Some council members shifted uncomfortably. The elder continued. "The galaxy fears you." The words echoed through the chamber. The human commander did not react. Instead, she asked a question. "Why now?" The council hesitated. Then they revealed the truth. They spoke of the simulations, the predictions, the impossible outcomes. They spoke of a galaxy that could win against humans only by destroying itself. When the explanation ended, the chamber was silent again. The human scientist broke it. "You studied our wars," he said. "Did you study our peace?" The question surprised them. The council replied carefully. "You fight better than any species we know." The human commander nodded once. "We had to," she said. "Our world never gave us a choice." She activated a display. Earth's history appeared. Cities burning. Nations collapsing. People fleeing disasters. "This," she said, "is where we learned." The images changed. Rebuilding. Recovery. Cooperation after tragedy. "And this," she added, "is why we survived." The council had seen these records before, but never explained like this. The human civilian stepped forward. "You believe we love war," he said calmly. "We do not." He looked directly at the elders. "We prepare for it." That frightened them more. The council accused humanity of being too dangerous, too adaptable, too willing to sacrifice. The human commander responded quietly. "When survival is at risk, sacrifice is not bravery. It is necessity." The words struck deeply. An elder asked the question they had avoided for years. "If the galaxy turned against you, what would you do?" The humans exchanged glances. The scientist answered honestly. "We would try to understand why." The commander added, "And then we would make sure it never happened again." The meaning was clear. Not revenge. Resolution. The council realized something uncomfortable. Humans did not threaten domination. They threatened permanence. When humans fought, problems ended. For better or worse. The council revealed the final reason for the ban. "You end wars," an elder said. "But you also change those who fight beside you." After fighting with humans, other species no longer accept endless conflict. The human civilian smiled faintly. "Is that a crime?" No one answered. The meeting continued for hours. Questions were asked. Histories compared. Assumptions challenged. The council learned that humans trained for failure because failure was common in their past. They learned humans trusted cooperation because isolation once nearly destroyed them. They learned humans feared extinction more than death. Finally, the council made a request. Not a command. A plea. "Remain neutral," they said. "Do not involve yourselves in galactic wars." The human commander stood. "We already are neutral," she said. "By your law." She paused. "But neutrality is not the same as indifference." The council did not like that answer. Before leaving, the human scientist delivered one final message. "You banned our warfare because you fear our strength," he said. "But strength without purpose fades." He looked around the chamber. "Purpose without strength dies." The humans departed. No threats were made. No agreements signed. Yet the council felt more uneasy than before. Because the meeting revealed a dangerous truth. Humanity was not angry about the ban. Humanity was patient. And patience, when mixed with power, was far more dangerous than rage. As the council chamber emptied, one elder remained behind. He replayed a single human sentence again and again. "We prepare for war, so that we can protect peace." The elder whispered to himself. What happens when peace fails? Far away, on Earth, the meeting was discussed quietly. Humans did not celebrate. They did not protest. They continued training, continued researching, continued preparing, not for conquest, but for defense. Because humans had learned something the galaxy had not. The greatest threat does not announce itself. And when it arrives, there is no time to prepare. At first, the galaxy celebrated. The ban on human warfare was seen as a victory for stability. News networks across star systems praised the Galactic Council. Commentators spoke about a safer future. Military budgets were reduced. Border defenses were relaxed. For a short time, it seemed the Council had made the right choice. Without humans involved, wars became smaller, more controlled, more traditional, or so they believed. But peace built on fear is never strong. In the outer systems, far from the bright core worlds, problems began to grow. Pirate fleets reappeared along trade routes. Old rivalries reopened between minor empires. Smaller species found themselves bullied by stronger neighbors. These conflicts were not large enough to reach council attention at first. They were called local disputes. Temporary problems. But they did not end. They stretched. Weeks became months. Months became years. Before the ban, when humans had served as military contractors or alliance partners, wars had ended quickly. Humans pushed for decisive results. They broke stalemates. They forced surrender. Now, without them, conflicts dragged on. One border war between two mining colonies lasted 9 years. 9 years for territory that humans once would have secured in weeks. Casualties slowly climbed. Trade routes became unstable. Insurance rates across the galaxy increased. Merchants began whispering something dangerous. Where are the humans? In one outer sector, a peaceful agricultural species called the Tagline requested help. Their system was being raided by a growing pirate faction. The council sent patrol fleets. The patrols were strong, advanced, professional. The pirates retreated each time, but they returned days later. They adapted. They learned patrol patterns. They struck at weak hours. Council forces followed standard protocol. Defend, push back, withdraw. The cycle never ended. Finally, a Talaran representative asked a forbidden question during a council session. May we hire human security forces? The chamber froze. The answer was immediate. No. The ban was absolute. Human warfare was illegal in interstellar conflict. The Talaran bowed their heads and returned home. Months later, their capital city burned. The pirates had grown bold. The council responded with stronger fleets, more ships, more weapons. The pirates scattered again. But they were no longer afraid, because they understood something. The galaxy fought carefully. Humans had not. In another region, two ancient rivals resumed an old war. For centuries they had hated each other. When humans had once intervened as peace enforcers, they had forced both sides into a final agreement. It had been harsh, but stable. Now that stability weakened. Without human oversight, the rivals tested each other again. Skirmishes began, then orbital strikes, then full invasion. Council mediators attempted diplomacy. Talks failed. The war lasted so long that an entire generation grew up knowing nothing but conflict. An analyst quietly reviewed historical data. He found a pattern. Before the ban, wars ended faster. After the ban, wars multiplied and stretched. He presented his findings to the council. Some members rejected it. Correlation does not mean causation, they argued. But others knew better. Humans had changed the balance. They were not just fighters. They were finishers. The most alarming development came from beyond known borders. Deep space exploration probes began disappearing. Entire research outposts went silent. At first, it was blamed on natural phenomena, radiation storms, navigation errors. But then a damaged vessel drifted into Council territory. Its hull was cut cleanly, not blasted. Sliced. Its crew missing. No distress call. No survivors. The Council sent investigation teams. They found nothing. No pirate signatures. No known weapon traces. Just absence. A quiet fear began to spread. Something new was moving in the dark. The Council debated increasing military cooperation between species. But unity was difficult. Old distrust remained. Each empire guarded its own fleets. Each system feared losing power. Without a unifying force, the galaxy felt divided. One senior military advisor finally spoke the truth in a closed meeting. When humans fought beside us, rival species stopped arguing. They focused on the threat. An elder responded sharply. "You suggest lifting the ban?" The advisor did not answer directly. He showed one more report. In a small border skirmish, a human civilian transport had been attacked accidentally by pirates. The humans aboard were not soldiers. They were engineers and scientists. But when attacked, they organized themselves quickly. They secured the ship, set traps inside corridors, disabled the pirate boarding craft, captured the attackers alive. The pirates later reported something chilling during interrogation. They were calm, one pirate said. Not angry. Calm. The advisor ended his report with a simple statement. "We banned human warfare. We did not remove human capability." The council chamber grew heavy with silence. Outside the core worlds, cracks continued to spread. Trade weakened. Fear increased. Small conflicts slowly connected into larger instability. And in deep space, something continued to watch. The council had feared human dominance. Now they began to fear something else. What if humanity had not been the greatest threat? What if humanity had been the shield? Far away, Earth observed quietly. Human ships continued exploration missions. Human scientists studied new energy systems. Human soldiers trained, but only inside their own space. They followed the law, but they also remembered history. On Earth, one retired general said during a private meeting, "Peace enforced by fear never lasts." He looked at the stars above. "And when the galaxy finally calls us back, it won't be because they want us. It will be because they need us." The cracks in peace were growing wider, and something in the darkness was getting closer. The first core world fell, without warning. There was no formal declaration of war, no broadcast, no negotiation. One moment the planet Orith Prime was alive with light and trade. The next moment silence. Long-range sensors showed only debris. No explosion marks. No radiation storm. Just clean destruction. It was as if something had erased the defense fleet with surgical precision. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. Panic filled the chamber. Reports came in quickly. 3 outer colonies gone. 2 research stations missing. 1 military outpost destroyed in less than an hour. Survivor footage finally reached the core systems. Dark ships. Smooth. Silent. Massive. No known design matched them. Their weapons did not fire beams. They bent space itself. Council fleets mobilized immediately. This time, there were no small patrols. Entire armadas moved together. For the first time in decades, the galaxies stood united. They met the enemy near the Draven corridor. Thousands of ships against a smaller dark fleet. The Council believed numbers would win. They were wrong. The dark ships did not panic. They did not rush. They moved like predators who had already chosen their prey. When battle began, it ended quickly. Council weapons struck the enemy's shields. Minimal effect. Then the dark ships responded. Entire sections of the galactic fleet vanished. Not exploded. Not burning. Gone. Within hours, the united fleet broke formation. Retreat signals filled space. The Draven corridor was lost. The chamber, that once feared humans, now trembled openly. A military analyst spoke with shaking hands. "They are not raiders. They are advancing with purpose." Another added quietly, "They are mapping weaknesses." The council understood. This was not random destruction. It was preparation. A realization slowly formed. For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy faced something stronger. Stronger than the Volari. Stronger than the ancient empires. And far more efficient. The Council ordered every available fleet to defend core worlds. Emergency alliances formed overnight. Old rivals stood side by side. But coordination was slow. Trust was fragile. Every species had different command systems, different tactics, different fears. The enemy advanced again. Another system fell. This time, survivors escaped in small civilian ships. Their message spread across every network. They do not communicate. They do not demand surrender. They erase resistance. The word struck harder than any weapon. An elder counselor finally said what no one wanted to admit. "We are losing." Silence answered him. Then someone spoke the forbidden thought. "What about Earth?" The chamber froze. The ban still stood. Human warfare was illegal. But extinction did not respect laws. A vote was called. Not public. Not ceremonial. Private. Desperate. The result was unanimous. The ban was suspended. A message was sent to Earth. For the first time in years, the Council did not speak from authority. They spoke from fear. "We request assistance." Hours passed. No answer. The Council waited. More systems fell. Then, finally, a transmission arrived. It was simple. "We are on our way." No threats. No demands. No negotiation. Just action. Human fleets jumped into Council space within 2 days. Not the largest fleet in the galaxy, but organized, disciplined, purposeful. Human commanders immediately studied enemy data. They asked direct questions. How fast do they adapt? What patterns exist in their movement? What energy signatures appear before attacks? While other species argued over command positions, humans built joint task groups, mixed crews, shared data, clear leadership chains. Some council officers resisted. Humans ignored the resistance. They focused on survival. The next enemy assault targeted a major trade nexus. This time, humans were waiting. They did not match strength with strength. They studied timing. When the dark ship spent space to erase targets, humans disrupted gravitational patterns using modified engines. It was risky, experimental, dangerous. But it worked. For the first time, a dark ship faltered. Council forces stared in shock. It could be damaged. Human strike, craft moved instantly. They targeted exposed structural nodes, not weapons. Precise. Coordinated. One enemy ship collapsed inward and vanished. The battlefield went silent. The galaxy had drawn blood. The dark fleet retreated. Not destroyed, but cautious. A new emotion spread across the council. Hope. In strategy meetings, human commanders shared their assessment. They rely on superiority, one said. They do not expect resistance that adapts. The council realized the truth. This enemy had likely conquered many galaxies. They had never faced humans. The war did not end that day. More battles followed. Some victories. Some losses. Humans did not win every fight, but they slowed the advance. They forced the enemy to react, to adjust. And every time the enemy adjusted, humans learned. Other species began copying human methods. Flexible formations. Shared intelligence. Rapid adaptation. The galaxy changed. Not through domination, but through example. Months later, during a decisive battle near the edge of Council space, a combined fleet, led by human strategy but crewed by many species, forced the Dark Armada into full retreat beyond known borders. The threat was not erased, but it was stopped. For now. In the council chamber, the elders gathered once more. The Redword band had long been removed from the walls. An elder spoke softly. "We feared human warfare." Another answered, "We should have feared fighting without them." The ban was officially lifted, not because humans demanded it, but because the galaxy finally understood. Human warfare was dangerous.
Yes.
But human purpose was stronger. Humans did not fight to rule the stars. They fought to protect them. And as the fleets repaired and rebuilt, one truth echoed quietly across the galaxy. The day they banned human warfare, they nearly banned their own survival.